I thought I was going to do some sort of, okay, all that prep to get on here. All right. Hi.
Hey,
Hello.
Courtney.
How are you doing?
Welcome. Okay, for whoever's watching, since I am technologically challenged, like say hi in the comments so I can like see like where I'm gonna see this. It should just be right on my screen. But anyways, hello. I have Alice and Kevin with me today, and they have been my coaches for the last, has it been like 3 or 4 months now?
I think it's about a little over 3 months. Yeah, a little over three.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. So I started working with them to get through my weight loss stall, and it worked. I will say, I'm just going to dive right into it. I feel like on paper, I was not the best client for you guys because I feel like I could have done better, but that's my fault. But then for me, I felt like having you guys there was okay. Hi, David. Good. Now I can see the comments. Having you guys like be my coach saved me because there was so many like twists and turns in my personal life where like I fell off track a little bit. I'm hearing like a little bit of feedback. I'm hearing myself. Like, do you have a video on?
No,
No,
no, we
Okay.
don't.
From your computer?
No.
computers
Okay. I'm just hearing like, I'm hearing my voice back.
might be the. I'll turn down the volume on my phone a little bit.
Oh, maybe it's like echoing or something.
Yeah, it might be.
Um,
Might be. Is that better?
I think so for now.
Okay.
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 um, so yeah, like I I wasn't a good client for you guys, but it was so good having you guys because I would have gone off the rails had you not been checking in with me. So, I mean, the first month was awesome. Like I was fueled by determination or even what's the other word? Like motivation. And then they kind of say like your motivation wears off and then there's determination. Well,
Yeah.
I feel like I had a lot of things like thrown at me and these are totally just like excuses, but like my dog died. I think I had the Rona virus. I was sick a couple times. So there is a lot of little things. And then creating my cookbook, being around all those different foods. So for me, like I fell off quite a few times. And so if I would have stuck to what you guys told me to do, I probably would have had even more weight loss. So that being said, knowing that you guys were watching my food, I did, have a few moments where it's like I went way over my macros and probably had some things I shouldn't have had. But if you guys weren't watching that, all my little stressors I had, I would probably be 30 pounds heavier right now because I tend to eat my feelings. I probably would have blown off the majority of my workouts. So I'm thankful for you guys because you really kept me from spiraling. But I also feel bad because I feel like my results could have been better. And that's definitely a reflection on me and like not the program you guys put together. So I just want to lay that all out there before we go through my results.
No, I think you did really great. Obviously, it's never a straight line to success for anyone. Things come up. You're quite a busy person with your cookbook and then all the things you went through over the past 3 months. But even in that first month there, your results were pretty amazing. And we can get into and then into exactly what happened. But there was that little lull period in the middle there. But now you're kind of back on track where you're kind of making forward progress again, which is really really good for us to see because it's kind of like those little habits that we've kind of tried to instill on a week by week basis are kind of taking effect now. So we're really happy about that.
Yeah, getting back on track. Yeah, I felt like that first month was amazing because it's like, okay, I want to say I was around 45 pounds lost when we started working together.
Yeah.
And I lost that 45 pounds in probably like 10 months. So I'm coming up on 2 years carnivore. So I was essentially stalled for like the last year. And it was more like, it, not I don't know. I just wasn't doing the things I needed to do. And I feel like at that time, in a way, like that's okay. Like I've been in weight loss mode for 25 years now and it's exhausting. So
Yeah.
I think it's okay to, need that break essentially. So I had that 10 almost 10-month year break where I wasn't tracking all the time. I was still eating carnivore, but I was just in maintenance mode essentially.
Yeah.
But that kind of gets tiring because it's like, okay, I want to be in maintenance mode at my goal weight. Like, I don't want to be maintaining 20 pounds heavier. So I was, gaining and losing the same 5 pounds. I hit like 140, was it 147 was like my lowest before working with you guys. And I
Yeah.
think I was back up to like 152 when we first started, give or take. So I was bouncing around that for like a year. And
Yeah.
then immediately doing what you told me to do, boom, 10 pounds, I think, in like a month or so, or
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. About that. And a ton of inches gone too. So, and in terms of like what you're eating, we typically don't like to restrict anyone in terms of what foods they're eating, um, but more the types of foods. And then macros is more like a rougher guide to kind of get you there. But a lot of the food choices make up with it, as well as a lot of habits and exercises we can get into as well, because that's super important.
Sometimes it's just the smallest change
Yeah.
too that can make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I will say for my other fellow dairy addicts who are watching this, like you guys still let me have some dairy.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was minimal, but and like minimal on like pork and the other animals, but we were like prioritizing beef, which I feel like sometimes it's easy to get away from and fall
Yes.
into the other foods. So prioritizing beef, having some seafood and eggs, I feel like is what you guys are like saying should be the bulk of your macro or what you're eating, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think that works for a lot of people. Any sort of ruminant animal, so I feel like lamb or things like that. But the seafood and the eggs as well. But yeah, a little bit. The dairy is a sensitive subject. It depends on the person. Some people can get away with it, and some people can't. Like for myself, I know when I eat too much, the weight adds on quite quickly.
Yeah.
So, but also some people can get away with drinking a ton of milk and have a ton of
Yeah.
cheese.
Yeah.
It also depends on your body type, how much activity you're doing, exercise, because sometimes it's good to have that, especially if you're looking to put on a bunch of muscle. The dairy can definitely help put on some weight quite easily because you're trying to do that. But it's for people that are trying to get past a stall like you were. It's typically a better idea to kind of minimize it, um, and see what happens. And for you, it seemed to help quite a bit. And then as well as kind of like mixing up the ratios of the foods you're eating, because we do a pretty deep dive in what you're eating regularly, and we did some tweaks on kind of percentages of different types of animals, cuts, and fat as well, fat to protein.
Yeah, so I will add really quick, you guys, if you have any questions, drop them in the chat. Like, let us help you. So throw them all in there while we chat about other things, and then when we're ready, we can go back to those. Serena's saying I'm much better off without it, but I do think cheese affects me worse than cream. Interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, I lost my first 45 having dairy. Well, I guess all of it, all the 55 now having some dairy, but I
Yeah,
do notice like it can get out of hand for me, and not so much the cheese, but when I'm stressed, I notice myself gravitating towards the heavy cream, and like it's like a bottle of booze or something. Like I drink it and it eases my stress, like it's my pacifier, I guess.
yeah,
So that for me, because now I'm on almost 2 weeks of dairy free, and yeah, because I was using it as a crutch for sure.
It's very common. It's not just you. It's very, very common with a lot of people doing carnivore.
yeah,
We see that with our clients as well.
yeah. It's kind of
Yeah.
like it's that last somewhat guilty
That
pleasure.
last, yeah, that last guilty pleasure.
So it's
Yeah,
easy to
I mean,
overdo it.
yeah.
Yeah. So
It's
it's one
just
of those.
something that we're giving up so much
Yes.
that it's like the one thing I feel like that's still technically allowed and that helps keep this like sustainable. Like
Yeah.
there's no way I'm going the rest of my life without having any dairy.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
like there's just it's not going to happen. Like I'm not going to do that. And
Yeah.
maybe that's just spoken like a true addict, but I'm just not going to give it up. Like I feel like in small amounts, or like you've told me, don't necessarily be having it every day, or a few times a week, or even just having like maybe not think of it as a cheat meal, maybe cheat isn't the right word, but just having it like
Yeah.
once a week, have something that has dairy in it.
Yeah, treat it more like a treat as opposed to like you go for ice cream. You probably wouldn't go for ice cream every single day, but maybe you go for on the weekend. So yeah, so treat it something like that. But it's not like you have to go 100% all the time. I like to look at like coaching and coaching clients as kind of like treat it like a training camp, where we're trying to get the best results in a period of time. Then you can take a little bit of break, and then you kind of jump back on. And that's how I do for myself as well. Yeah,
Like, so you need to do this too. Because it's like we have this retreat now, it's in like a couple weeks, but when we started it's like, all right, we got 4 weeks, like we need to look our best. We can't be arriving to this retreat, trying to help people be carnivore more, and I'm still like overweight. Well, I'm still going to be a little overweight, but I will be better than I was a few weeks ago.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's good to have like some sort of event or some sort of goal towards working towards it, whether it's like a vacation or whatever it is that you're trying to, because it helps motivate you and kind of push you in the right direction. Um, so whether it's having an accountability partner or a coach or a friend that pushes you, um, can help. And then we obviously help with some of the technique and the troubleshooting along the way. So that's definitely part of it.
Yeah, you guys definitely helped get my macros changed. 'Cause it's just so interesting. Like, and I wonder why, is it just our body gets used to it? Like, I think I suggest to people that are looking for like a blanket statement on macros, like whatever your goal weight is, eat that in protein and fat. So if your goal weight's 130, eat that in grams of fat per day, eat it in grams of protein per day, and adjust as needed. So that
Yeah.
worked for me for 45 pounds. And then I kind of, slacked off for a little bit, and now you guys bumped up my protein just a little bit and lowered my fat just a little bit. And it was like, boom, that starts working. So is it because like I'm in my last like 15 pounds or so? Is
Yeah.
it like, why would I need to make that switch? Is it just because my body is wanting to hold on to it and you need to shake it up?
I think the longer you do something, the more your body gets used to it. So you want to get some sort of change for your body to adapt. And we also increase like your weightlifting quite a bit. So your body is going to demand more food just in general, just to recover. Um, so that's a mixture of those two things. So yeah, for sure.
It depends on a lot of things. I find people with stalls and macros very individual dependent. Like some people will do well on a certain set of macros for a while and then be stalled out, need to change things up.
Yeah.
So there's so many factors, and then also the foods that they actually eat, because the macros are one thing, right? But the actual foods that you're eating are
Yeah.
equally as important too. So there's a lot of reasons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, which is a whole other, I'm going to write that down for later. So should we maybe just quickly go over my results, and then I see some questions coming in. So we'll go over the results, and then we can talk about, like, I have a few topics that I want to talk about that can
Yeah.
help people, and then we'll do the questions as well.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. So did you want to go over where you started off at and where you are now in terms of
Yeah. Yeah, you can lay it all out there. I don't care. There's no shame in what my numbers are at.
okay. Uh, okay, let me see here. So you were at 147 and a half when you started, and then you dropped down about 10 pounds in the first month, and then there was about a month there where all the stressors kind of happened, and you kind of flattened out for a bit, and
Pork
now
rind
you're
cereal happened. I ate my feelings in pork rind cereal.
and now you gained a few pounds back, and then in the past 2 weeks, no, we're kind of refocused now. You're back down another 2 pounds, so we're super happy with that. So you're sitting at about 138.9.
How many pounds overall is that?
So you're 9 pounds down overall.
9 pounds down. It's
Yeah.
amazing. And you were stalled for a while, right, Courtney?
Yeah, like a year. Yeah.
So super happy with that. We didn't cut your overall calories at all, because when I was looking at your macros before, so we more changed up the types of foods you're eating, a little bit of ratio in fat to protein, and then obviously we did a lot of stuff on the training side and the exercise side as well, which plays a lot into it.
Mhm.
We can optimize the food a ton. But you also have to move your body as well. It's quite, especially when you're for yourself, when you're getting down to that last 10 to 15 pounds you're trying to lose, it actually gets harder than
Yes.
easier. Um, I think I don't know if you can speak on this, but the first 45 pounds is probably a lot easier than the last 10 pounds have been.
Yeah, it definitely it flew off a lot quicker than these last ones are wanting to.
Yeah, for sure. And that happened with me as well. When I switched to keto carnivore, I dropped that 40 pounds pretty quick, probably within like 3, 4 months. And then after that, it was quite slow. But that's when you have to start working on things like putting on muscle, then changing more of your body composition, like the inches, which we'll get into. So, in terms of inches, you've lost 14 and a half inches off your whole body. Um, so that's really good. 2.5 inches off your waist, which is really big. So you went from a 34 to 31 and a half off your waist. And then you lost 1.5 inches off your hips, and then about 6 inches off your thighs.
So a
Total of 14 and a half inches.
14.5 inches and 9 pounds.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Awesome.
You did
Yeah.
awesome. You did so well. A lot of people think that, that last little bit, and this is very common for most people, like the cutting calories, like to cut more calories, but it's, that's what we say, that it's just one part of the puzzle. You don't necessarily need a lot of women undereat on carnivore, a very common problem.
Mhm.
They think that they need to like keep cutting.
Yeah. Or keto too.
Yeah, or even keto, or even just weight loss in general, right? But it's only just one part of the puzzle. There's a lot of things that matter.
Yeah. We want to focus more on boosting your metabolism.
Yeah, boost your metabolism being the main thing, and it's better for long-term health anyways.
Yeah, and that way it's harder for yourself to gain it all back.
Yes.
Down the road.
Yeah.
With a higher set point or a better set point to start off with.
For me, like I haven't been one of those, oh shoot, I'm accidentally under eating. It's like, no, like I could eat way above my macros. So for me, like tracking macros, it helps keep me in check.
Yeah.
And I do go over them. I
Yeah.
mean, even the last 2 days, I think I went over by by quite a bit, but it was like genuine hunger, and I'm
Yeah.
like eating beef and stuff. So it wasn't like I was like, oh, I'm hungry to snack on some cheese. But for me, it's like I could easily eat a lot more than so. Yeah, I don't understand the under eating thing. But like you said, like you want to essentially be able to eat as much as you can while losing weight, right? Because of the
Yeah.
metabolism.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because even though macros, they're still a rough guide. You did a little bit more work that day, you exercised a bit harder, or your body's recovering or healing from something. You might need more food some days than others. So the macros are a guide to help you plan your meals for the week and plan your foods for the week, but they're not an end all be all sort of thing. It's kind of like a more holistic approach.
Yeah.
Where you have to take into account your movement, your sleep. Your sleep seems to be pretty good, but the movement as well is a big piece of it to help you get past this last bit that you're trying to get rid of. So yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely the movement thing. I think obviously like getting steps in, I think that's great, but I
Yeah.
think the huge thing is lifting weights, and I feel like so many people aren't that need to. Like
Yeah.
especially women, to as we get older, like we lose bone density, and just being old in general, like, old people are falling, and if
Yeah.
you break your hip when you're 80 years old, like that could put you out for the rest, you know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
building those muscles to protect your bones from breaking, and just to like live a longer and better life. So I know I've gained a lot of strength since starting out.
Yeah.
Do you have that pulled up? I'm just curious because I don't even know where I
Yeah.
started.
Yeah. So I can tell. Let me just check here. Your weights have definitely gone up a lot more than when we started. So let's pull up the progress here.
I'm reading. Someone says I look like I weigh 120. You would never guess I was 147 or 138. Well, thank you. And that's interesting that you say that because I get the opposite comments. Like people are always like, "Oh, no wonder you're like like me eating better. Like, oh, no wonder you're so fat or you're still obese." So, I think I wear baggy clothes, and I'm large chested, so I feel like it makes me look bigger than I am. I've never had anybody say it looks like I weigh less than I do. So
I
thank
think
you.
a lot of people have followed you for your story for a while now.
Those
I noticed
people.
the change,
And it's
especially.
huge change.
Yeah, I
Huge
noticed the
change.
change, especially in your
Yes.
face.
Yeah.
That's where I noticed the
Yeah.
most difference. And
Yeah.
that's the way your face looks, kind of is a indication of your body as well, because
Yeah.
it holds a lot of water, it holds a lot of the body fat in your cheeks and stuff. So when you're
And
losing, you notice.
I
I
have
don't know
big
if you notice that
cheeks
as well.
anyways.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
like even if I'm
There is a
like
difference.
thin, like I have big cheeks anyways. But yeah, it's more like people in carnivore notice the difference, but it's like the haters that like for some
Yeah,
reason don't see. I'm like, how do you not see a difference? Like
yeah,
crazy.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, but in terms of your weights, like I know you're lifting a lot more than you used to. So we started off with pretty small workouts, and now you're going about 4 times a week now, which is good for you. Works with your schedule. Um, the way we set out your workout plan is to kind of progress and make it more difficult and more intensive over time.
Progressive overload.
Yeah, progressive overload as well as just increasing the volume and weights over time. So yeah, in terms of your weights, your reps have gone up from like 8 to 12. Like some of your movements, like your cables, are pulling down 70 pounds, which is quite a lot stronger than you were when you
Yes,
started.
my lat pull downs are at 70.
Yeah,
I can get in some bicep curls, like I can do some of them at 20.
yeah,
Then I usually have to like drop down. But yeah, I feel a lot stronger when I sometimes I'll flex in the mirror my arms and I'm like, ooh, like I see some bicep coming. Now for me, I still have like under here, like I still carry a lot of fat there,
yeah.
but I see the biceps coming. So it's like for me, I just need to like get the rest of this fat off. I'm almost there. And then I think you'll be able to like see all the hard work that's under there.
Yeah, and a lot of people think that going to the gym, doing exercises will make you bulky, but like you're seeing your biceps now, but your arms have actually shrunk by about an inch. So either your arms are skinnier than they used to be, but they're more defined. So
Yeah, but more muscle. Yeah,
yeah, which
lifting
is
does
what we
not
want.
make us bulky. I don't even know why that even is a thing.
No. No. No.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would not
exactly.
happen.
No, not for sure. I think that's a lot of in the bodybuilding space that's kind of more possibly, but I think if for general like health and weight loss, weightlifting should be a big part of your plan.
Yeah,
Um,
we always recommend weightlifting to everyone
yeah,
to the extent that we can. It also makes it more enjoyable too, right? Like when you're as a part of the process, because you get to see your weights go up and
yeah,
yourself get stronger.
Yes, it's
yeah,
instant gratification, I
Yes, it
feel like,
is.
because you
Yes.
find out right then what's going on. You don't have to
Yes.
wait till next week when you weigh yourself to like see any weight loss. Like
Yes.
it's
Yes.
instant and
Yes.
yeah,
yeah,
and it
it
gives you
feels
a
good.
goal to work towards that's not weight based.
Yes.
Well, it is weight
Mhm.
based
It
because
is
you're
weight based
trying
in
to
a
lift
different
more,
way.
but
Yeah.
but yeah, it gives you goals that you can actually control as opposed to your weight, which is somewhat out of your control at times. But there are
Yes.
things you can do to kind of help it move along the right way.
I find that the
Yes.
weightlifting always makes people happier too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pushes out the
Yeah.
endorphins and
Pushes it.
makes us all
Yeah.
happier.
Definitely. Okay, well, while we're on this topic, someone was asking, what sort of strength training do you recommend?
Yeah, so I like people to be in the gym somewhere between
4
two to
times.
4 times a week. Um,
It depends on the fitness level
yeah,
of the person that's starting.
and it doesn't have to be the gym either. Like a lot of the workouts we've given you, you can do from home because you have decent amount of equipment.
Yeah.
With this small amount of equipment, you can do quite a bit. The It's not more about working out; it's more about having like a training plan because just going in and doing the motions will is good for like general health. But if you're trying to work towards a goal, you want to be increasing the volume and the intensity and the weights um, like every week, ideally, to make it more difficult and force your body to adapt. So, like you can do like arms, legs, and chest and back, and go in and keep doing that. A lot of people will do that for a long period of time, but won't see any results. But it's more about what are you doing in those specific workouts. So, did you get slightly stronger your next workout? Are you pushing yourself a little bit more to get those
And
results?
that's it. what you just said, pushing yourself.
Yes.
That's the key. And you know what? It's funny because I do the best I can to like push myself, but my workouts are definitely different when I'm by myself
Yeah.
than when I go with Jeff because I think I was having a wonky day yesterday, but I cried at one point during our workout together. I had some tears in my eyes. But that's what you have to do because you
Yeah.
need to really like you need to break down and tear that muscle so it can build back up. And
Yeah.
that's not going to happen with your little like 2 pound weights. Like you
No. Well,
really
at
need to like
first, yeah. At first, if
well
you're,
I
Yeah.
yes
At
if
first, yeah.
yeah,
yes
yeah,
yes
you're a
but
little
I
bit more
mean you
experienced now, but yeah,
right. No, yeah. I don't want to dismiss the 2 pound weights, but I just mean you need to keep pushing yourself and push yourself as hard as you can so you can keep growing and not just, you can't go half ass. Like you really got to push it. And it's hard to sometimes push yourself.
for sure. And there's kind of there's a little bit of science and math between how we design your workouts. Um, so I'm trying to make sure that you're hitting certain body parts a certain number of times per week.
Yeah.
And then we're also increasing those numbers on a week to week basis. And then we got to a point where we want to give your body a little bit of a break where we take a rest and then we start again.
Yeah.
So the rest period in the middle maybe was a little bit too long. But I think when we started off, you had that dramatic loss at the very beginning. It was like 8, 9 pounds. And then we were increasing your intensity every week at that point. And then we went off for a little bit, and now we're kind of starting that process over again. So you probably noticed in our workouts week to week that they're getting a little longer every time. But when you're really trying to get towards a goal, you have to like push yourself and make sure that you're either increasing the weight, increasing the reps, or the overall training volume.
Yeah, and I will add for anyone who's curious. So when you work with them, you will also, I mean, besides the meal plan, and we can get into that later, but with the workouts, they're putting these into the app called, is it Trainerize?
Yeah.
Yeah. Trainerize. Yeah.
Okay. So they put in your workouts and what your goals are for that day. And there's also, so then you keep track of like your reps and all that and what weight you're at. And it also shows you there's like a video too. So if you're like not sure what it is, you click on the video, there's like a demo. So it's super convenient to know, just have it there like, oh, this is what I'm doing today. There's no thinking. You log it all in, watch a video, like a little clip if you need to. And then it keeps track of what you're doing. So last time, if you're like, oh, where was I? Then it kind of pops up what like your max was. And
Yeah.
it's super helpful
Yeah,
in
those
gym
numbers
or
definitely
home.
help for tracking and also to push yourself a little bit more every time.
Yeah.
And then that gives us the chance to review your results and make any tweaks and adjustments on a week to week basis. Maybe we need to swap some exercises out, or like for yourself at your gym, we wanted to group some machine exercises together just to make it a little bit easier. So everyone's custom in terms of how we set up their plan.
Yeah. That's the value of one-on-one coaching, right? You really get that tailored, customized experience and program.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's key. And also having that person in your corner, because I mean, in a way, like we can all like gather this information on our
Yep.
own if
Yep.
you
Of
want,
course.
but
Yeah.
it makes it, you guys are, I almost think of this as like for also like with business coaching, like you guys are just like collapsing the time for us. Like
Yep.
you're, instead of us taking all this time to figure all this out and trial and error, like you had the
Yep.
answer, you
Yep.
give it to us, it's quicker, and then you're holding us accountable too, because I clearly cannot hold myself accountable. I would have been off the deep end, way off the rails months ago. So,
Yeah.
knowing someone is looking at your carb manager app, your food log every single day, it really keeps you in check. Like, okay, should I have this? Like, I really want it, but they're watching, and then like, oh, you didn't do your workouts that week. So it's really helpful for those of you like me who like can't do it for yourself, essentially, which sounds so bad, but I mean, sometimes you need to like do it for someone else too. Like I don't want to let you guys down either. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's weird. That's like I need to go to therapy for
No,
that.
I mean, like we
But
have coaches for we have coaches for our own thing too, right?
Yeah.
So it's I
Definitely
think it's
helps.
important.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely important.
Helps speed up the process.
Helps speed up the process.
A lot of people
Identify the blind spots too, right? Because that's a big one.
mm,
For
yes.
people, you don't really know what you don't know. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, were we ready to move on to questions? Did we cover everything in that
Yeah,
results
yeah, I
and
think
stuff?
so. Oh, another thing, just in terms of like motivation, is probably a lot of it is having someone to talk to on a one-on-one basis. Like we have calls every week,
Hmm.
Yes.
so that helps keep you on track, knowing that the call's coming up. It helps us be better coaches as well, just to know what's going on in your life, and if we have to make any adjustments to the plan. So that helps as well. So, and we in on our calls we talk about things to help keep you motivated and keep you on track as well. Because there's a lot of it's a mental battle
Hmm.
a lot of the time with weight loss, kind of being able to stick with it. Um, because food is always like a release for people. So when it's easy to overindulge, like as you know, and as we know as well.
Yeah, and you had me at one point when I was starting to spiral and wanting to eat my feelings. Do that one exercise. Was it like 7 questions? What was it called?
Oh
For
yeah,
the
seven
why?
layers of why.
7 layers of why.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Yeah,
a
which
powerful exercise that people can do on their own, but we can have it guided as well. It just helps you prioritize your
There are lot of different little coaching techniques that we use depending on the person and
yeah
what they need. But that one's a good one for helping people get back on track.
yeah yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm curious. Serena, let me know if you're still in here. I'm just curious, not to like call you out on this, but curious your thoughts on high fat because a lot of people say they feel better that way and it's how they lose weight. And obviously everybody's different, but I'm just curious your thoughts on like, and I'm sure you know what I mean. Like it's 80/20
Yeah,
essentially, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I think it depends on the timing where you are in your journey. Um, like if you're just starting off on keto or carnivore, it might be a little easier to do high fat because your body's just not used to it and just forcing your body to use fat as fuel. The longer you go into it, I find that, at least for myself, I haven't needed as much fat. Um, like that in terms of a ratio. I might get as many grams overall, but I'll probably eat more protein in terms of that ratio. So instead of 80/20, I'll be lower than that, maybe 1-to-1 or even lower. So I think at the beginning, it's better than later on, at least
Oh,
in my personal
interesting.
experience for weight loss. I can't really speak towards like if you're trying to heal some sort of illness, maybe that's better to do high fat. But if you're just working on like body composition, weight loss, then I wouldn't go. I haven't seen the best results being super high fat. Um, at least that's in our
It's
view.
just the interview, and based on the people that we've worked with,
Yeah.
we
Okay.
find that for them prioritizing protein tends to work a little bit better. So that's our approach. But it seems to be very different, right? It seems everyone seems to have a slightly different opinion on this. So
Yeah.
I would say like think for yourself, like for people are wondering, try different things and see for yourself what
Yeah.
works and what doesn't work.
And what works now might not work down the road. So
Yeah,
maybe,
exactly.
yeah. If you've lost 40 pounds doing high fat, the next 20 pounds might not work doing high fat.
Yeah.
So your past diet history affects it as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, there's questions about macros and like the yeah, I use Carb Manager app. I've used that for years, even when I was keto before this.
Yeah.
And then is there a general blanket statement on what you recommend for macros for people to try? I know it can differ with everyone, but
Yeah. Somewhere between like, I think you mentioned this before, is like ideal weight and lean body mass in terms of grams of protein to have per day. So your lean body mass is basically the weight of your muscle and bones. So you can find that on the internet by calculating yourself, or you can go do a body scan somewhere and see what your actual body fat percentage is. And or you can go based off ideal weight. So that's just you can find that online as well. It's based on your height as well as your age. And then you just have to play with the fat to see what works best for you. 1-to-1 is a good starting point, and see if it works. And then you could, before tweaking your macros too much, you probably want to look at what you're eating as well.
oh, yes. Okay, so I did want to come back to that.
Yeah.
Um, yes, because okay, I feel like this is a hot topic right now too. Like I feel like it's even in the carnivore space, but I feel like there's a lot of like whatever they call the gym bros, calories in, calories out people,
Yeah.
that it's like, okay, yes, you can lose weight eating Oreos, but what is that really doing to your body? So let's talk about that, because you are like, you even told me to like pull back on the chicken a little bit. So
Yeah.
what's your approach then on why you're prioritizing these certain foods?
I like to look at the type of fat that's coming from the food. So with beef, you're looking at more stearic acid, which is good for metabolizing fat for energy. And then with seafood, you're looking for like things like omega
Omega
threes,
3s, yeah.
which hopefully bring down inflammation, which makes it easier to lose weight.
Yep.
So those are the two factors where we're prioritizing those. And you get it from eggs as well, and grass-fed meat is even better.
Another thing is that a lot of people doing carnivore have a lot of food sensitivities, allergies, sort of thing, and I think most people seem to react best to beef, and that is, blind diet by definition, right? The the best elimination diet. So we kind of going based on that principle. It just seems that people do best on beef, and people feel the fullest on beef, and so we always just say to prioritize beef.
Yeah. Or lamb.
Or lamb,
Yeah,
but
we eat quite a bit of lamb too, but-
most people eat beef.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you also, okay, so yeah, so beef, seafood, and eggs is what like I've been prioritizing. It's
Yeah,
so
and then a little bit
interesting.
of chicken and pork as kind of rotate in.
Yeah, just for variety.
Just for variety.
Yeah.
But yeah, like small percentage. And it's interesting. I see a lot of people say like pork makes them bloated, and I'm almost wondering for me too. Like if I have like a bag of pork rinds, like
Yeah.
I feel like my stomach. Like, is that a thing?
Well,
Have
the thing
you
with
heard
pork
that?
rinds is they have no moisture in it, so when you eat them, they don't really make you feel as full. So maybe when you're eating them, you're overeating them. So that might cause some bloating. And it also is still is deep fried. So not everyone's stomach does well with deep fried food.
Okay.
And pork rinds are one of those things where it's really easy to eat a lot of really fast.
Some people are very sensitive to pork in general too.
Yeah.
Some people react to pork.
Yeah.
As well. We used to eat a
Okay.
lot of pork, and then we kind of start cutting down over time. Just
Yeah.
eat beef.
Jack is wondering why 52 days in, I don't have energy. Can't do electrolytes, they bother me. So putting salt in my water. It's Redmond. I have been true blue, mainly beef. Hate feeling so tired. My only thoughts would be like more fat. I don't know. What would you guys say to that?
It takes some time in the beginning, 52 days in, especially if you're doing just like regular standard American before. It can take some time. That initial, that's what they call the keto flu, or that
Yeah.
initial hump.
People are still feeling it in 52 days.
Yeah, 52 days is a pretty short amount of time.
I know for you.
It took me a long time to get
Yeah.
over that initial hump of
Really?
that keto flu. Yeah. Months and months before I
Oh,
kind of gained
okay.
energy again. Jack, there's different brands of electrolytes, so maybe you want to try different brands.
Yeah. I would, and they could be the fat as well. It depends on what cuts of beef. If you're just eating like eye round or sirloin steaks that are very lean, it's not much energy, and it takes a lot of energy to convert protein to energy. So it's like double whammy. So you probably want to increase your fat a little bit. Yeah, I would never go low fat, but I would be moderate to high.
Okay. Well, can we touch on that since you bring up low fat? What are your thoughts on I always get the letters wrong.
Protein sparing. Yeah.
PSMF.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we
What are your thoughts on that?
constantly get questions on that one.
We don't really use that.
No, we don't use that in our program.
I think it could work, I guess. We just have never really used it as a tool. It's harder for some people to stick to, and I don't want them to go low fat and overeat afterwards. After doing the PSMF.
We're more on like consistency.
Yeah.
We you can probably tell from our meal plans, we're more consistency focused, like just eating consistently every day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I couldn't imagine feeling that great on like that low of fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess if it's for a day, it would be okay. But if you're doing it for a longer period of time.
I've had some clients try before, and it seems like they've experienced, from what they've told me, some mixed results with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, instead of throwing in some lower days here and there, just keep it a little bit more consistent. And
Consistent.
just to throw this out there because we were talking about the macros. So when I did mine, for the 45 pounds, I was 130 grams of fat, 130 grams of protein. And then that kind of stopped working for me, but we didn't make big changes for it to work. So
No.
I'm up to like around 145 grams of protein and 115 fat. So
Yeah.
I just want to say that because when I say, oh, I lowered my fat, I don't want you to think like I'm 90
No.
grams of fat. Like it's
No.
still a lot of fat. It was just a
Yes.
slight little shift. So definitely something, to play around with.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay, so let's talk about butter versus tallow because even when tracking and like
Yeah.
I needed, fat in certain places, you were
Mm.
preferring that I had, you still let me have my butter, but you would prefer that I had tallow over butter. Now, why is that?
That goes back to like the stearic acid comment I had earlier. Um, I find that people have better weight loss results on with more tallow. And I wouldn't. It's not that butter is bad. I still use butter all the time. But I found that over relying on butter hasn't helped too many people. Where you can eat more fat from not in terms of tallow. It's more like just eating more like fatty cuts of beef, and then you don't really need as much butter because it already has so much flavor. So yeah, I more rely on getting the fat from the meat as opposed to overdoing the butter, which can happen really quickly before you notice.
Yes, and that can skew the fat to protein ratio very quickly too.
Yeah.
Without people realizing.
Danny, this is because this is live. Maybe that's why. I don't know. He's wondering why he can't go to the beginning. You might have to just come back and check the replay, like once it's posted on my channel.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is my first time going live with somebody else, so I
Same with
couldn't
us.
tell you. Someone's like, explain to me what's going on. Hi, Amanda. I was doing coaching with Alice and Kevin for the last couple months. They were getting me through my weight loss stall. So just to recap, we are going over we went over my results, but we're also sharing like what they do in their one-on-one coaching programs and just some tips for you guys to have some takeaways today on how to get through weight loss stalls and talking about macros and exercising and all that. Let's see. You like using lard. Yeah, I mean, whenever I make bacon, I save the bacon grease and I use that to cook in too. Just, to use things up and save some money. What else? Let me know if you guys have any questions. Oh yeah, I wanted to come back to that one. David's asking what kind of fish do you think works well for those that want to lose weight?
Hi, David. We like salmon.
Yeah.
Salmon, trout.
Sardines.
Some people do whitefish, sardines. Yes.
Yeah. Any sort of fattier cuts are good.
What's
that way you
one
don't have to add a ton of butter.
Yeah, canned fish, herring. All sorts of fish are good.
Yeah, salmon. The last few days I went on a salmon bender. I don't know if you guys saw any of my stories or anything, but I found this salmon that was recommended. It's like lightly smoked at Trader Joe's and it was
Oh,
like
nice.
my body just was like
I saw
craving.
that, the can,
oh,
right? Yeah, that
yes,
one's a
and
good one,
then
eh? Yeah.
I got a lot of flack for eating farm salmon, which is a whole other rabbit hole to go down to. We don't even need to touch on that today, but it was so good and like my body was like, "Yes, please give me more." And so I probably had quite a bit for like 5 days and today I've had pretty much like only beef.
Yeah.
Like it's just interesting that like even the last few days I didn't have much beef even though I know I should prioritize it. And today I was on a beef bender.
Well, it'll average out over the week. It's not like you have to eat the perfect ratio every single day. It's more about consistency over periods of time.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's such a good point for people to remember. Like, we're not thinking even of your macros in your workout like as one day. Like, think about everything as a whole week. But
Yeah.
now that I say that, it makes me wonder if you went over on your macros one day, would you then try and restrict yourself the next day so your week balances out? Like, how?
I think it kind of happens naturally
Okay.
because you'll just feel less hungry. Like you don't have to intentionally restrict yourself. Maybe restrict yourself from eating too many pork rinds or something like that. But overall food intake isn't as important because your body will naturally adjust unless you're eating foods that trigger a lot of snacking and cravings. Like it maybe with some people it is like eating way too much cheese will put you over one day. Um, yeah, so that's more to look out for, I think.
Awesome. Hi, Sammy. Thanks for the offer. I don't even know how to do that. Adding moderators or anything. But thank you. Okay, I'm trying to get if there's any more questions. I know David, I know you had a couple in the beginning. I think I wrote them down. The fish and then we talked about strength training. So if anybody else has questions, if I missed it, let me know.
Oh, David, a
Oh,
question there
that's right.
about poor sleep.
Yes, I forgot. We skipped that one too.
It impacts your leptin and your ghrelin levels and also your insulin sensitivity. It's been scientifically studied. So you will feel more hungry and
Less satisfied.
Yeah, less satisfied and just generally crave. I mean, just make bad decisions, like your poor decisions in general when you don't sleep well, right? And that extends to food choices. Tips for best sleep: regulating your circadian rhythm, kind of treating your body like a clock. So the timing of food and light is really important. When you eat your food at the same time every day, get light in your eyes at the same time of every day. Kind of exercise at the same time every day. It kind of syncs the body and all of its organs up, and that helps with sleep a lot.
Yes, go outside and look at where the sun is coming from for like a good couple minutes before you look at your phone, if you
Yes.
can.
Was there an
Yes.
eclipse this weekend? Don't look at the eclipse though.
Oh, yeah, it's like, isn't it tonight or something?
Yeah, don't
The
look at the
world's
eclipse.
going to be ending. So, cooked meat versus raw meat when it comes to measuring your meals, do you measure before or after? I measure before, but I also know in the carb manager, I think there's macros in there for cooked beef, but I measure and log before. I don't know what you guys actually
I
recommend.
think most databases are raw.
Yeah.
Because it's the most standardized way of measuring.
Yeah,
But yes, there are some apps that will offer the cooked weight as well.
and if you don't have it, you could divide the cooked weight by 0.75, and that'll be the approximate raw weight.
It's a quick and dirty formula.
It's not perfect.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
cooked meat loses 25% of its weight from water. So, yeah, if you don't have the ability to, or if you're at a restaurant or
Yeah, I will add to that because if I'm doing like a roast or something, I will measure out like at least for me and what I've checked, and this was years ago, so maybe I messed up at some point, but 2.7 ounces of like cooked beef is 4 ounces raw.
yeah,
So
That seems
that
close.
was
Yeah. That seems
okay.
close.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Because that was back from like my meal prep keto days
Yeah.
that I still use when it's like a big roast. It's easier that way
yeah,
when you're cooking a large amount to weigh it, yeah, after and then just do that math.
yeah. So just divide 0.75, and it's
Okay.
it'll gross it up.
Sammy is wondering, how about the gym days thing, as in conflicting advice on whether working out fasted is better than fueling yourself first.
So whether to work out fasted or not
Fasted or
fasted.
not? Yeah.
I just prefer working out fasted. I feel lighter, and it's when I'm working out with a full stomach, it doesn't feel as good. So I prefer working out fasted. I don't think it makes a huge difference.
Haven't really looked into the science behind which one's better, but we both prefer just fasted. You just feel better.
Yes.
Just feel better. I don't like going to the gym on a heavy stomach.
Yeah, because when I
Yeah.
eat a lot. So
Yeah.
it's kind of tough to. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to do fasted workouts as well. Unless for some reason I have to go to the gym later in the day, then I wouldn't probably be fasted by then. Um, I don't understand these. I don't know if that's a troll, these bull comments. Oh, yes. Okay, Sammy, is this it would be nice to have a moderator right now to kick these people out. Okay, so I think that's everything I had written down, and I don't see any more questions right now. Is there anything else that you want to add? And I will figure out how to, remove this person. They're in timeout. There we go.
No, we were just really happy with your results so far. You've been a great client, and we're happy to coach you, and super happy with your results with the 9 pounds of loss and 14.5 inches. And then we're just looking forward to getting you to the next stage, which is your final goal weight. Well, your final-ish. And yeah, super excited for that.
If anyone is interested in one-on-one coaching and wants to talk, or even just have a conversation about your situation, how we can help understand our program a little bit better, I think Courtney has posted the link in her description.
Yes.
So yeah,
there's a link to your website. And then you did mention you would give $100 off.
Yes, for the live stream viewers here. Yeah.
So just mention on your call.
Yeah, just mention on the call.
Okay, so they would book a consultation call with you and just mention that they saw us here, and they'll get that $100 off.
Yes, we're happy to offer $100 off.
Awesome. Thank you for doing that. Yes, you guys, if you have, sorry, my comments were stuck. I needed to scroll back down. I didn't realize it went to where I scrolled up. Yes, Sammy. Okay, so sorry, that just totally distracted me. If you guys are in the position where you can hire a coach, 100% hire them. Having everything figured out for you, what you're eating that day, what your workouts are, you have access to harassing them every day through text message if you need them, a weekly check-in call. Like, it has definitely been super helpful to me. So thank you guys so far for everything you have done. Someone's asking about a 3-day egg fast.
We personally don't really do those.
No, we don't really promote any of the short-term fast stuff. It's just more just consistency, eating consistently over time. I'm sure they work.
Yeah,
I'm sure they work.
You know what? I've done one. I don't recommend it. I mean, you can get the same result. I feel like it's just like a lot of water weight too, or something, which I still think is great to get off your body. But I have a video up here somewhere of my 3-day egg fast. I don't even remember what I lost. It was like maybe like a pound or two, and I wasn't happy. Like,
no,
I was like, we were camping at the time, and it's like everyone's eating ribeyes, and here I am eating my freaking hard-boiled eggs and mayonnaise. Like, and for what? Like,
those
for
fasts.
why?
One thing I will say about those fasts is that they're very good for getting blood sugar levels down. So, those sorts of extended fasts for weight loss, I would say just be more consistent. But those are good specifically if you're struggling, have high blood sugar levels. There's like a medical, health reason that you want to get your sugar levels down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good reset. I felt like 3 days was a little much though. Like, maybe do it for one day just to get back on track. Like the sardine fast, like there's no way I'm eating sardines for 3 days. No. Thank you, Sammy. Yes, 14 inches is amazing. I just know I could have done better. I had some, mess ups. But we're almost there. Yes, their coaching is amazing. I know they coached Anita too. If anybody watched their videos with her, and you got her through her weight loss stall as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anything else? So once this uploads, I need to go back and I'll tag you guys in it. It wasn't like bringing up the tag, but what's your channel on here? Is it Alice and Kev?
Yeah, Alice and Kev. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, and then that is your name, like on Instagram too. Like, where can everybody find you?
Yes, Alice and Kev on Instagram and YouTube.
Yep.
Okay.
Basically, those are the two main areas. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and that will. Yes, it'll all be linked. And anything else before we say bye?
We also have a free community as well for people who are interested. If they want to join our community, we've got some resources in there that we're working on. We are hosting a live challenge for April right now as well.
Okay, and where's that
at? Community is on school. I can send the link after.
Oh, okay. So it's not on a social media, like it's not Facebook or something.
No,
it's not Facebook.
No. It's off of Facebook.
Yeah, it's off of Facebook.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Thanks you for my coaching help, and thanks for helping everyone watching today. Hope you guys got some good info and tips. Oh, real quick, do you just want to touch on like what your coaching plans are? Like, are they certain time lengths you do, or tell us a little bit about the plans?
Sure.
Yeah, it depends on the person and kind of how many pounds they're looking to lose. So that's the main thing. So our shortest program is 6 weeks, and it goes up to 4 to 6 months. It depends on how many pounds you're looking to lose. Yeah. So it can be adjusted. That's why we have the consultation call to kind of understand like your situation, what your goals are. Yes. So it depends on the
the person.
Depends on the person.
Awesome. Okay. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Okay, bye,
And
Courtney.
yes,
Thank you.
I will. I
Thank
will
you,
share this
everyone.
replay and everything will be linked. So if you guys don't see it now, then just look down below somewhere. It will be there.
Sounds good.
Okay,
All
sounds good.
right. Bye.
Have a good
Thank
one.
you,
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
everyone.
Bye.